Hello, so today we're making atta, or the dough for rotis and paratha. We're actually going to show you how to do this two ways, one in the stand mixer and one by hand. The one with the stand mixer we'll make some rotis with, and the one by hand we'll make some parathas. Let's get started. So I need 2 cups of flour, or atta. 1, 2, and then we're going to need some salt. So I'm going to go ahead and add half a teaspoon of salt. A lot of people don't like to add milk to it. I think milk gives it a very good consistency. Less than 1/4 cup milk and warm water. All right, so in a measuring cup, what I've done is I've taken 1/4 cup milk, and the rest of it is water. So not quite half and half, but I'm gonna add that in there slowly. So first, let's get the hook on here. Let's put the knitting hook on there, the kneading hook, perfect. Make sure it's on there, perfect. I'm gonna raise this up, and I'm gonna start mixing it. So it's on stir right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of water/milk in there. 1/4 cup at a time, and let it mix. See how it's just starting to come together? So every few minutes I'm going to add some more water. So from stir, I'm going to go ahead and move it to 2. So in total I used about 1.5 cups of water. The first cup was the mixture with the milk. The second 1/2 cup was just warm water by itself. So in total 1.5 cups of liquid to knead my dough. I've adjusted the speed to 4. I'm going to let it mix for another 3-4 minutes and see how I like it. The more you knead, the better. All right, all done. It's done. Let's take this out. So I'm going to take the hook out first. And let's take a look at our dough. Looks amazing. Great. So this is done. I'm just going to take the atta out of here. You can see how nice it is. This dough is simply amazing. Now we do have to let it rest, so I'm going to put it in a bowl. And we're just going to put plastic wrap over it and just let it rest. We're going to let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. You can't over rest a dough, you can't under rest a dough. I like to just leave it in there for about 20 minutes. Let's put some plastic wrap over it. And it doesn't have to be in a warm place, it just has to sit. So I'm gonna actually put it right here. We'll let it set for about 20 minutes, and then after the 20 minutes are up, we'll be good to make our rotis. Alright, so the second way we're going to do this is by hand, and we're actually going to make it for parathas. So we're going to need flour. We're taking 3 cups of flour for this one. We're also going to need some salt and some oil. Go ahead and make a small well in the flour. Add your oil in there, 2 teaspoons of salt, shake it up, and now start just mixing the oil with the flour. We just want to make sure everything is mixed well before we start adding the water. Once it's all mixed well, then we're going to start adding the warm water slowly. So again, the water is on the warm side. We don't want it hot and we don't want it cold. So we're going to add it slowly while we mix. And we're going to continue to do this until all of our dry flour is mixed well and no longer dry. So we're going to knead the dough and add the rest of our oil in there. So now the whole dough has about half a cup of oil in there. We're just going to keep kneading this until it becomes nice and smooth. So doing this by hand definitely takes a little bit more muscle, but it turns out amazing. So we're going to go ahead and put another about a tablespoon of oil, mix it well, and just knead. We don't want it to be too dry because we are making this one for paratha, which does tend to have a good amount of oil in there. So once we're done, we're going to go ahead and take this beautiful dough, put it in a bowl. Put a little bit more oil on top, just so when it's resting, it's not completely dry. So put a little bit more oil on top, and then we're gonna put some plastic wrap on it and just let it sit. We're gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes. Some all-purpose flour, or you can just take some dry atta to make sure the dough doesn't stick. Here is our dough. Our atta looks great. Oh, I just love the way it came out. It's amazing. Let's get the dough out. Let's make some dough balls. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a good amount of dough in your hand. You're just going to make it into a dough ball. Once it turns into a dough ball, nice, smooth, put in some flour and onto the platter. Let's get started. We're going to take one of the dough balls, just flatten it in the dry flour, shake it up, flatten, very good, take it out, and just make it slightly longer by hand first, lay it out, and let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this on the bottom so it doesn't make too much noise. There we go. And you can flour it as you like. Some people don't like to flour it too much. I don't think there's any such thing as too much. There we go. And it just, go ahead and make it as long as you like, as thin as you like. So you can just pick it up. Just wait until it's starting to look a little bit brown on top all the way around. I like to turn it once so it gets evenly cooked. So paratha's cooked the same way. We're gonna go ahead and let it cook from the one side. Once it starts getting the bubbles, then we're gonna flip. Until then, we're just gonna dab it a little bit with our spatula or a paper towel. And once it's cooked from that one side, we're gonna flip it and let it cook from the other side. Now it usually takes a little bit longer on the second side, so we're going to dab it some more to make sure it cooks evenly from the center and from the corners before we add the oil. So we're just going to oil the corners, and it actually seeps through to the whole bottom part of the roti. We're going to turn it a little bit so it doesn't burn one corner more than the other. And once it's completely cooked on that one side, we're going to go ahead and flip it over and let it cook from the other side. And we are going to oil that side also. So just pour oil on the corners, let that cook. And you do want to press it with your spatula a little bit to make sure it does cook evenly. And once it's completely done, we're going to drain the excess oil and take it out in our plate. And then it is ready to serve. And it's delicious.